It's a full-on Truman Show. It's a bit like Coca-Cola, the ultimate refreshment.
Gents. Alright, well, first, cheers. Thank you. We're going to get a little bit of beer all there. Alright, cool. What's up, guys? It's Jez here from Whiskefy. You may notice that we are doing something a little bit different this evening. Now, you're like, why are you in someone's lounge room? Well, this is my lounge room. It's right next door to my little whiskey, I don't even know, little den. You've got to check yourself. Just make
Well, we said that at the start. Make sure we're on silent.
It's all phones. Please turn off your phones. Keep your arms inside the vehicle at all times.
So yeah, just to kind of start it off, I wanted to start something new. Obviously, you guys know how much I love burgers and how much I love bourbon. So why not bring people in the industry together with, I guess, some of my favorite burgers and bourbons. So we are starting off with a super special episode with two gents that mean the fucking world to me. And if I have to chop that out for marketing purposes, I'm more than happy to do that. But I have Josh, who is the BA for, I'm going to say Beam, but he's going to say Maker's Mark, and I'm a whore for Maker's Mark. So, and that is what we've got in front of us. So, but I also have Dre from, I guess, Drams by Dre. Is it Drams?
Yeah, Drams by Dre, instantly, but from being Suntory, so.
He's going to say that, but I'm also going to say he is Australia's top whiskey taster for 2021, that he keeps telling everyone, even though he hasn't posted anything on his socials to say otherwise, he'll just keep telling, he's like, no, I'm Australia's top whiskey taster.
Yeah.
There was 4 people in the room, and I worked it out. He's like, yes, mate, congratulations. But yeah, I guess kick it off, because we've got a couple of pours in front of us. Like, obviously, everyone can see these beautiful bottles of Makers. Some of them you won't actually find on the shelves. So it was cool to kind of...
I think you won't find any.
None of these four will be on. None of these will be in the Australian shelves.
So yeah, we're very lucky. Well, thank you, Jez.
That's all right. No, that's all right. You know me.
Guys, my name is Josh Davies. I am the New South Wales Brand Ambassador for the Exchange.
The Exchange.
But we represent all of Beam Suntory's premium spirits. So, of which we are focusing on tonight is Maker's Mark. We do have our Coca-Cola cans there because we can stay on brand as well. But yeah, met Jezza a couple of years ago. We've always shared a fine appreciation for delicious bourbon, whiskey in general. So when we thought we'd kick things off by tasting some delicious Makers and shooting the breeze and having a good night.
100%.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. All right. You want to intro yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Dre. Full name's Andreas, but yeah, everyone calls me Dre because that's Australia. It's one syllable, and that's as much as you get.
You're not from Compton. You just like.
No, I always tell people I say like Dr. Dre, but without the musical talent.
Okay.
It's because a lot of the time people hear it as J, and I'm like, no, it's not J. But so I'm the design manager for Beam Suntory and the blend program, and you've probably seen the scholarship going on at the moment, and we've got a couple of trade advocacy programs going and trying to help the industry upskill and work in all of their programs, and in return we hope that they use our brands while they're doing it.
You're definitely going to have to break that down for my audience, but I really want to get hooked into this food because food first.
Staring at
Well, you intro the food and I'll intro the whiskey.
Yeah, done. All right, cool. So I guess this evening, because everyone knows I've moved up to Sydney now, and I just kind of hit this little local spot that I like going to, and it's kind of like, you guys know how much I love fat food, and I kind of wanted to go something super simple tonight. It's just like, I went chicken because that was like my thought process. I'm going something like essentially smooth. Anyone that talks about Makers, they're like, oh, it's so smooth, I'm like, yes, it is, because it's just that wheat, it's super soft grain, and it just feels amazing on the palate. So I'm like, just double stacked chicken burger, kind of got me funky, and it's Burgs and Bourbs, so it doesn't get much more simple than that.
It doesn't. So folks, you'll notice that we did already sort of pour ourselves a dram. We are kicking things off with the Maker's Car Strength. Now, when we were having a chat earlier about what to drink tonight, or the lineup that we're going to pick, I thought let's kick things off with Makers at its core. So for those who aren't really aware of Maker's Mark, wheat-based bourbon, aged between 5.5 to 6.5 years. The distillery is out of Loretto County, Kentucky, at a venue called Star Hill Farms, or a distillery called Star Hill Farms, created by Bill and Margie Samuels back in 1953. And the whole idea was, as Jez just said, we want to make a whiskey that's it's light, approachable. It's a bourbon for everyone, and I think that's what we get when we have wheat-based bourbon. It is a lot sort of sweeter and softer than the sort of rye grain that offers a lot more peppery spice. But with the Maker's cask strength, this, like I said, this is at its core. So aged between 5.5, 6.5 years in a rotating barrels throughout the barrel room. We literally take it out of the barrel between that little period, because when it tastes like Maker's, that's when we bottle it. And that's it. So we filter it through. It's non-chill filtered. We wanted to keep it at its core. And I mean, for me, this sits at, I think, it's at 54.5. So 55.4. And this just sums up everything that embodies Maker's Mark for me. It does get, over in the States, it gets cut to 90 proof. Here in Australia, thanks to the Mr. Taxman, it gets cut to 80 proof.
Sad racks only.
Yeah, exactly right. But fortunately, there are whispers that this might be making its way to Australia next year. We can only hope. But
cannot wait.
For me, boys, I think this is everything. Like in terms of what I want from a bourbon, this is it. So, cheers to a good night, lads.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can drink cask strength without watering it down, without issue, that's when you know it's good shit. Like,
well, that's it. Like,
normally you need to add like a teaspoon of water to cask strength to make it palatable.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that just drinks so soft. Like, it's sort of like that
Kentucky hug.
Yeah. Kentucky hug, I love it.
Oh.
You sort of got those burnt cinnamon notes to start.
It's one of those filthy words you like using. It's just like, Kentucky hug.
All right. I think our viewers are going to be very enthralled into see how the hell we attempt to.
Oh no,
I'm going to try to not get it like all over Jez's lovely cream.
I'm trying to eat it. This is
All right. Well,
Jez is intro to mukbang videos.
All right, ready? Good luck, boys.
Was there a tactical play on the burgers tonight, gents? Thank you. I don't mind looking filthy for my audience. They've seen me at my worst, and then still seen me at slightly worse than that. So
Tactical plays to lean over the cardboard box.
Yeah.
And minimize the damage.
yeah,
Let's try to hold on, really.
I have to get my cleaner up here to tidy the joint up. I don't have a cleaner. I might just get one of the bin boys from downstairs and go, mate, I'll flick you an extra 50 if you come up
And then you get to say you've got a cleaner.
Yeah, that's it, 100%. And if it's on footage, well then it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
wow.
It's good burger.
It's so good.
Good pictures. What were they called again?
I was just about to roll it out, just like
Give them there's their plug.
they get a plug. Inferno Grill. Inferno Grill in Maroubra.
Maroubra, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very good. All things that make their own ice cream.
I know you like to break the rules, and my cry is being too good for you. I'm too good to you. I'm too good to you. My cry is being too good for you. I'm too good to you. I'm too good to you.
Oh, he's actually coming here.
Yeah, he's coming.
He's
He
coming.
dropped that the other day, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just in the hour, so we did a virtual distillery tour with Maker's Mark, and Rob Summers actually came on.
Yeah.
And he started it off and kicked it off, and he was chatting through it. Just at the end of it, just casually jumped in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually heading over to Australia in the next couple of months, so I'll see you guys there.
Everyone was sort of like,
And we're like, oh shit.
oh my god, Rob Summers is coming.
But we
Yeah.
worked for Beam, we didn't even know that was happening
Yeah.
until now, so it's pretty exciting. So it'll be cool to have him in the office and show him around and
Yeah, it's going to be
pick
great.
his brain.
Yeah.
hopefully I get a message the day you arrive.
Yeah, we'll just be like, hey, Jez, you want to swing by the office? Yeah, drop off some boxes.
So guys, for those who don't know, Rob Samuels is currently.
please.
So Rob is currently running Maker's Mark, and is the grandson of Bill Samuels Senior, who kick-started Maker's Mark, like I said at the start, back in 1953, with his beautiful wife Margie, and Bill was actually a part of a family that had been distilling bourbon in Kentucky for 6 generations, and infamously hated the bourbon that his family had made. It was too robust. It was really, really forward of the palate. It was just one of those really harsh type of bourbons. So when he actually, I love this story. When he got control of the reins of this family business, there was only one copy of the family recipe, handwritten copy, and such was his desire to reshape the bourbon world. He actually burnt that only copy of this 6th generation recipe, and in doing so burnt down the drapes to his own house. And I like to say, like, he may or may not have had a few drams of whiskey by this point, and it's also fair to say that Margie wasn't overly thrilled.
No.
Thankfully, no one was harmed, but that is the extent that Bill's passion went to in wanting to create like a different type of bourbon to what.
There we go.
To what was being
take.
created.
That
That was one take. Forgot what were we talking about?
Sorry.
Rob Samuels. Yeah, so Rob. So and we'll go through it as we talk through the range, but yeah, and then Bill passed down to his son Bill Jr. And Rob is now currently running it. So can't wait
Yeah.
for Rob to come out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
How many of us bean people do you know? It's like what do you call it? 6 points of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Yeah, but
It's your Kevin Bacon.
I know way too many people from your office, and I don't even mean to. It's just like friends. Yeah.
I did it.
Nice.
I'll clap it up because I guess next time we're gonna have to go bigger and harder. And
I don't know about that, but
if you're not leaving in a food
I haven't had a
coma,
sip. Hey, we're not done yet. We still got onion rings, wings, and ice cream.
Oh yeah.
And 4
Perfect.
more whiskeys. But I haven't had a sip, deliberately haven't had a sip of my bourbon. So
I can't say that. I've had a couple already.
Yeah.
this is going to go down so well.
That's exactly
So
what we want. And like, what is it? You said 55.45.
Yeah.
It's super dicey. Like it's just such a good point. Like there's a reason why a heap of brands hit that 55 mark.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just works so well.
I think when it comes to the whole ethos of Makers is we want it to still be approachable.
Yeah.
It's a welcoming and approachable
Yeah.
type of bourbon. There are some like big, so you're 1 from 2.
That's all right.
That's all right.
You just got to keep.
If anyone can't see, Jez has got a little bag down here for all that rubbish, and he's just missed his second shot. He got his first
So
one.
he's obviously going to cut the first one.
Yeah. I'm only going to put in the bad shots.
You cut it really obviously. It's always the good shot doing the exact same thing with the real bad.
Yes.
Swish. Oh, 1 take.
We're going to
Swish.
keep a little
Oh,
tally.
1 take.
I'm actually more proud that I didn't spill any.
Yeah, you did well.
I did. Yeah,
Oh, no
I'm
damage.
quite a humble man, but you're right. I did do well.
I feel like I reckon we've tooted our horn too early. Watch us just spill ice cream fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
Because by
yeah.
then we'll be 4 whiskeys deep in here.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll get a spoonful of ice cream and you'll start talking, I'll turn and the spoon's
Yeah.
going to go straight into the carpet.
I don't mind. This is not my place. You guys think this is my place. It's not my place. I just won't re-sign the lease. I'm like, I'm out. See you. They'll find a stain like
The
8
joys
years
of
later.
renting.
Yeah, perks. It's good stuff. It's good life.
Good onion rings.
And that's just I won't bring out. I won't whip out the chili jerky till after we finish tasting all the.
Yeah.
Oh, chili jerky, buffalo wings, ice cream. We're gonna get freaky.
I was that close to bringing the
I was literally
smoky
doing the
jerky
same
as
thing.
well. But
Oh.
I was like, excited. A bag of smoky
what?
and
Thank
chili,
you.
so smoky
Oh.
jerky. So like just like barbecue and smoke. But so the main 3 flavors I do is
Feel free to start taking shots too. 'cause I'm
smoky, teriyaki, and chili are like my main 3. That like
Oh,
I've kind
so
of
what are we,
perfected
1
those.
for 3?
He's 1 from 3, folks. He's 1 from 3.
Yeah, I kind of perfected those 3. Don't know why I tell the random experimental ones, but they're the good ones. The chili lime actually was really good. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, this place is not set up for entertaining, so I'm currently working that out. But we're doing okay. We're making.
I feel like we're doing alright.
We are doing
making it
rather well.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I just love, like, you're right. It's crushed it.
1 from 1, folks.
There we
from
go.
one.
And that's the fun thing, just retire there.
That's it.
They use 100% accuracy.
No,
You started good and you just,
well, see, it's just this cast strength did to me. I had like half a sip.
and just downhill.
100%.
So you got when you're playing pool, you got to find that magical level of drunk where you're just at your peak of your powers.
Mm.
Then you have that one too many more, and you.
Did I nail that, Paul?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And I'm gonna grab that.
I know, that's why I was half full.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
You're a fiend.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
It's so good.
approachable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Just delicious.
Because I was paying $120 a bottle for that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's good price.
hence why well, considering that we're seeing the last of the stocks of the 101, because obviously, not like I need to tell the makers guys what they're releasing, but they released the stocks of the 101, and
Yeah.
it's like $130 a bottle, if you can still find it. I did see a bottle today, and I'm like, oh, it's like, what, 10 proof points lower, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, it's just not cast strength.
no, it's something that.
But I haven't tried it before, so
Well, yeah, I think.
because I've got all these picks, and then I've got like cast strength, and then I've just got like 46, and then 80 proof. So
Yeah.
And personally, I think cast strength's better than one. Like the difference, 46 at least has the point of difference with
Yeah.
like the finishing stage.
Yeah.
But 101 and cast strength is just the weaker version of
Yeah.
it. So
yeah,
if you're going to pick between
What I love
go
about the cast strength is, and again, like for me, I'm all about like trying different things, but having a core product that at its absolute base is like the pick of the bunch.
yeah,
And for me, that's what Maker's cast strength is. It's like we've got all these amazing expressions that, in their own right, do incredibly well and have a place. But if you do all these weird, not weird, but if you do all these like varied
yeah,
expressions of your base,
yeah,
it means your base still has to be like that center point.
Mm.
And that's why I love like that. That's why we sort of went with cast strength
Yeah.
as that sort of leading tonight, because you know, it is untouched Maker's Mark at its core.
yeah. Oh.
You know, like it's got that class, like it's got that sort of traditional mash bill. You know, with the 74%, 16 and 10. That red winter wheat though, it just gives that little extra.
It really, really softens the palate. Like it just
Yeah.
makes it just
Yeah.
What is that mash
everything
bill? If you know, what is a mash bill?
is-
I just said
it. You just said it.
74%.
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah,
missed that.
74,
Jesus Christ.
16, 10.
74, 16, 10.
There you go.
So 10 multiplied.
Fuck, where the fuck was I?
Well, to be fair, you did
I
have
was
a
like-
sip.
Yeah,
I was like-
you're
I was-
in chicken coma. No one invited you, Siri.
She's been doing that a lot lately. It's just like mid-conversation. Just like,
Um,
well, that's good, because that'll
Yeah,
make the
so-
best bit of B-roll then. Like, just as you finish that, it's just like, I'm like, so what's mash bill?
You know what you could do then? Bring the fucking, but why male models from Zoolander? Just like little clip of Ben Stiller coming with this, why male models?
brilliant.
That'd be gold, comedy gold.
But yeah, like it is classic.
That'd be a great B-roll right there. Why male models? I'd laugh if I saw that.
I still haven't seen Zoolander.
What?
You haven't seen the
Oh.
the second one or the first one?
Both.
The
No.
first one, you have it's just an
I haven't seen the
all-time
second one,
No.
but like I was like the
No.
Zoolander's just brilliant. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
Yeah.
so.
first Zoolander is just like, it's just cold
So
classic
funny.
footage. It's so funny.
You haven't seen Zoolander?
I have not.
Fuck this, let's fucking watch
I was gonna
Zoolander.
say, do you even know what scene we're talking about then?
No idea.
Oh my god. Well, I'll give you just a 10-second gist of it.
Yeah.
You fucking basically said Zoolander is dumbass model, male model. Guy explains the whole grand scheme of what the bad guys are doing and why they're tagging male models. And after the whole spiel, Zoolander goes, "But why male models?" And it's the funniest shit.
It's exactly what you just did with the like.
Exactly.
I explained the mash bill, And you're like,
What's the match?
so what is the match bill again?
Yes.
And the best part, it all
Love
came from an ad lib too, because like he forgot his line, so he just said that, and it just was the funniest shit. Like it almost broke David the cockpit.
Yeah.
You just watch him like in disbelief, and he's like, "That's not your fucking line." But it's like the funniest line in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I love that.
You need to watch it. So when we leave, you're gonna go watch that.
Yeah, so
And then you're gonna clip the little gif from it to put in your video.
done. I've got a lot of editing to do.
Yeah.
Because I've got to make all my shots look pretty.
Yep.
So that's going to be like 2 days work there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You're going to take a photo of the napkin.
Have you set yourself up like Lightroom presets to save yourself a bit of work each time?
No,
Or
no, it's
how are
like
you touching them up?
I just turn that on.
Oh, okay. I was
So,
going to talk about
turn on-
editing with your programs.
No.
Okay.
No.
So chuck it in Lightroom. Once you get your preset for your style and your content for this room, you just save the preset and you drop every photo that you take in this room will look the same once you put the preset on.
No. I just make all my photos look the same.
Through hours of work.
Through hours of work. I'm saying I can save you.
No.
If you do
no,
this way,
No.
you do the hours one time, and then like for all of our photos, I basically spent the time creating the one Lightroom preset.
Yeah.
And then now when we do those bartenders of the week
Yeah,
on Mondays,
yeah.
member Mondays and that, I just drop the same preset filter on them, and no matter where you get the photo from, it all looks the same.
Yeah.
Not about it, though. Just does
No,
Yeah,
it.
he's just like, no, I want to do that work every time.
I love that.
It's
It's just like then I put in the work.
Love the grind.
It's like, why have someone do it for me when I can just sit there and sob and going, how hard is my life? That is what I'm about. It's so good. But unfortunately, we're going to have to pull a pin on that one because we have more cast strength to taste.
We do. Dre, what do we got here?
So we've got the Makers by Shakers 2019 Private Select.
Awesome.
This one is 108.4 proof.
I love
So
the
it's touch-
secondary on
A
this
touch
bottle.
weaker in terms of ABV. And we've got 3 Baked American Pure. That's supposed to be pie, isn't it?
Puree.
2, puree. 2 seared French cuvee. 2 Makers 46. No French mocha. And then 3 toasted French spice.
Cool.
So this,
I'm going to do the brand thing.
Yeah.
Just before we lock into the private select, guys, we sort of went on a bit of a journey with Maker's Mark, and for a long time,
May as well
Maker's
pour it out.
Maker's Classic was all that we made, and then
I'll get Josh to
Good
pour it out
splash.
for camera then because
Okay.
he's
You
a
are
pro.
the master pourer.
ankles.
Yeah,
Make sure
please.
that angle is right.
You're right.
There you go, there's your...
He's a pro.
Pull that guy and we'll get that on. What's a fat boy?
So we had Makers to start with for quite a long time, and we were adamant that Maker's Mark was going to be the only expression that we made. And then when Bill Samuels Jr. Took over in 2010, he came to our distillery team and challenged them to help him create his own expression of Maker's Mark. And that's where Maker's 46 was born. And with that, the adding of staves to our barrels was sort of born. So with the 46, 10 lightly seared French oak staves were put in for another Kentucky winter, so 3 or 4 months. And then we bottled it at 47%. And that's sort of that set the groundwork for Private Select. So the ones we've got here are the sort of older expressions. So we're only using 5 at this point, but we've now added a combination of 6. So it's going to be quite exciting to see what new expressions of Makers Private Select really come out. But
I'm using my phone, so I can't Google what the new one.
no, that's fine. We'll
That's fun for you
we'll,
guys.
we'll add a bit of suspense. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
I think the cool part is they can do any combination of like 10 staves, right? So you can pick
That's right,
3
yeah.
of this, 1 of that, 2 of that. Just
Yeah.
any combination of 10 across. And you can completely omit some if you want. Like these
Yeah.
guys have done, they've omitted the French mocha.
yeah.
So if you want, you can balance it out and pick a couple of each. Or if you can go really heavy on the spice and really light on vanillas.
It's really cool because I think we are very used to seeing Scotch whiskey finished in different types of barrels, and personally, I love a sherry finished Scotch.
Yeah.
Big cherry slice.
Which is, yeah, me too. Like I love it, but it's not that commonly seen with bourbon introducing different types of staves. So
Yeah.
I think what we're doing with Makers and the Private Select especially is really unique. And it's really cool. Like it gives people an opportunity to be like, yeah, I'm gonna
And I think it's very important for the makers' ethos of not bastardizing their core product. Like you said, I think they're very fundamentally did not. I think it was for years and years they kept telling people, no, we're not doing single cast. Not doing single cast. We want our core thing.
Yeah.
Our makers will always taste like makers.
Yeah.
And then honestly, there's big props to them because they would have had a lot of money thrown at them to give them single cast,
absolutely.
and they stuck to their core values.
Yeah.
And they found a way around.
And even still, like the same mash bill that we spoke about earlier is still used in 46. It's still used in the private select.
Well, they don't change the mash bills.
No,
No,
change
it's
nothing.
makers at its core,
Yeah.
and then using different elements from this sort of goes. So we're third generations at Maker's Mark as Maker's Mark, 6 previously.
Yep.
But when we started in 1953, we're still using the same cooperage that provides all our barrels.
Which is
today.
nuts.
So they're a 4th generation cooperage.
Yeah.
That we're still using. So yeah, it is really important to makers that we keep it grounded in what we do in a family style unit.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that they also the same thing. They get all their grains and their wheats from the same local families that they
Exactly.
generation after generation.
Yeah.
So that for one, they're keeping consistency on the product, and 2, supporting their local area.
I was listening, I was just like, those certain places, so you got all the people that are doing the grains, all the people that are doing the cooperage, how they would have grown because of the amount of case numbers and barrels they'd be putting down is nuts.
Yeah.
So they'd have to keep up with this demand.
Well, it's crazy. Yeah. So last year we went through 25 million bottles.
That's
at Makers, and I guess it's a pretty good little segue into talking about how Maker's Mark, in my opinion, became one of the most, if not the most, easily identifiable whiskies on a back bar anywhere in the world.
It was because of the second Spider-Man movie, right?
Maybe not quite.
Oh,
maybe
well,
for you.
It's 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. No. So we normally say that the reason why people will buy their first bottle of Maker's Mark is because of Margie Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they'll buy their second bottle is because of Bill. Okay, and the reason they buy their first is because Margie is credited with being the pioneer of the identity of Maker's Mark. She was the first woman inducted into the Kentucky Hall of Fame, Bourbon Hall of Fame. Graduated with honors in a science degree at the University of Louisville in 1929. Let's pause for a second, go back to 1929 and Southern America as a woman.
Yeah.
It's thank God that we've changed now, but they didn't exactly, women didn't exactly get a fair crack at things.
Yeah, make my peach cobbler, and that's a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, but how good's peach cobbler?
It's very good,
but Margie,
that's real shit. I'm like, because
I'm
I've
not gonna lie, peach cobbler is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
It is
like,
good, yeah.
you can talk all the shit you want, but I'm like, how good is peach
but
cobbler?
how good's
Yeah.
peach cobbler?
And pecan pie.
Oh.
Pecan pie, fuck it. So my missus makes a great pecan pie.
Like sweet potato with marshmallows on top. I had that in Tennessee at Miss Mary Bobo's.
Oh, Miss Mary's.
Yeah,
man.
I went there for Christmas lunch.
That's
it was
where we had
popping.
we had a full thing there. That was great.
It was just kind of segue. That's my bad. Oh, how
Yeah, it was
good
alright,
is peach cobbler?
How good's peach cobbler? Yes, Jess.
So
Yes.
Margie's degree.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a time for women to excel, but fast forward to when Makers was starting, and 1959 we started producing whiskey, and the first bottles that were produced, Margie wanted to dip in the red wax, and that's where the sort of iconic red wax comes from. She was an avid collector of French cognac, and at the time French cognac, you could tell it's premium quality because it was sealed with red wax. So Margie was basically, her ethos was, well, irrespective of whether people buy our whiskey or not, they're going to see it and they're going to know it's premium because it's sealed in red wax. And so the first bottlings that ever came out of Maker's Mark were dipped in her kitchen, in her own kitchen fryer, in red wax.
I love that.
So that was happening in 1959. You fast forward to 2021, and we're an operation that still makes bourbon, and we're still pumping out just shy of 25 million bottles last year. And every single bottle, whether it's Classic Makers, Cask Strength, Private Select, the little minis, the 1 litres, any bottle that comes out of Maker's Mark Distillery is hand dipped at that factory on our bottling line. it sounds like a lot, and people go, oh, wow, but so 1 every 5 seconds.
It's
Unbelievable.
those numbers are
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, it's and I guess it goes back to that sort of, like you said, Jay, like that handcrafting ethos of Maker's Mark is sort of really what we are at its core.
And likewise with the labeling. Again,
Well, yeah,
hand-cut
so like
labels.
even the labeling, yeah, like so the
Everything about
the labeling itself is like all hand cut labels, you know, using
the old school big old machine.
yeah.
It looks really cool.
I guess that shows the sort of the person that Margie was and the visions she had for Maker's Mark. When it comes to all of our brands, I think my favourite story is talking about Margie. I learned it from when I first joined the company. I learned it from Erica, our South Australian ambassador, who is the biggest.
Is Erica?
She's Erica. She
Erica, I
is,
don't know you, but she's-
the biggest
over.
Maker's Mark fangirl I've ever come across, and I'll go out on a limb and say anything that Erica doesn't know about Makers is probably not worth knowing.
Fair.
But she was the one that first taught me about Margie Samuels and just how important she is to our industry. So I think with that, I haven't actually had a sip of this yet.
Oh, yeah, like I've almost finished mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Going for it.
Well, what ABV are we sitting at?
It's just under, it's like 54, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
54.2.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Yeah. And something I find really interesting, this one's, the
Yeah,
nose
actually,
is way
this
more
is-
vanilla,
this
so
is-
it's like creme brulee on the nose.
Also,
Then
why I
it-
wanted you here.
Yeah,
Because you're the pro for Australia.
Yeah, so,
I'm like, you need to give these people some tasty
my
notes.
one credible thing, I'm just going to keep pissing off Dell by not posting something on Insta. And knows he's just like, he goes, he looks at my accounts, he knows posts, and stories go up, and he's just like, is it even a real account? I'll eventually post something,
Is this going to be your
I know
first
it's fine.
post then?
I guess it probably will be. There you
Could
go.
be,
Yeah,
yeah.
could be. Just
I feel like
but-
for me that's a lot more sort of big on the nose
Yeah.
than it is on the taste.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
So like I've got a lot more of that sort of punchiness coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
But it's very sort of soft and mellow on the,
yeah,
on the
it's-
palate, isn't
yeah.
it?
And it's very like I said, like the first thing to me on the nose straight was like creme brulee, and you got like that,
Yeah.
like, the burnt toffee coming in
Yeah.
there with the vanilla hiding underneath, and it's one of my favorite notes that I get in certain bourbons when it pops out, like the specifically creme brulee, because you get that real good like char on the top.
That char
with
and
the
that
creamy
sweetness.
vanilla.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
it's a great combo. Like sometimes you get one or the other, but when
Yeah.
they come together, it's just like it's bang, creme brulee pops in my brain, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
delicious. But then
definitely.
again, like you said, the palate to me is a bit. The nose is stronger than this in the palate. The palate's a bit more.
It's a lot more rounded.
Yeah.
Like it's not as almost obvious because like you
Yeah.
said, like when you smell that, it's just like you've got that classic sort of char, that vanilla, sort of that burnt toffee. But I poured you a decent slug there, didn't I?
I saw that and I was like, well,
Yeah.
Jesus.
At least you're not driving home. Drink responsibly.
But yeah, I think that, and again, I know we've harped on it, but like going back to the car strength, I'm really glad we started with that and sort of set the base.
Yeah.
Because for me, this is a lot softer
Yeah.
on the palate than the car strength.
Yeah.
Similar ABV, but it's really interesting just to see what those different casks do.
Yeah.
And I think it goes to show how important maturation is to whiskey, because we're only talking a handful of different staves sitting in the liquid for
A couple
3 or
months.
4 months.
Yeah.
But it's like noticeably shaped
Yeah.
a really different bourbon compared to the makers, and it's starting from the same base that we just
Yeah.
tried.
If I tasted that blind, I would have guessed ABV was a fair bit lower.
Same,
Than-
yeah.
Like, I'd be thinking this is more
Like
around
50.
like 50 flat. You know,
Yeah.
if I was tasting the
100
blind,
proof,
I'd be
yeah.
thinking 100 proof. It's like a bottle and bond, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
So it's hiding. It's got sort of knocked it down about 4 proof just from the
Overall
stains.
mellowness, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Go through. What were they?
So you
again?
had
yeah, please.
the bulk of it is the toasted French spice and the baked American puree. That was 3 and 3, and then you had 2 Makers 46 and 2 French Cube. So taking out the roasted
Yeah.
French mocha, which you're getting the French
Good
spice is
spice, yeah.
Yeah.
the spice I think is mostly coming through on the nose, and you're getting that
That
punch
sharpness,
there.
but then
Sharpness.
that yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
that mallow is probably coming
And I
from
think,
that 3 and 3.
yeah, that's it. puree and the 46 are definitely helping mellow it out a fair bit.
Yeah.
The softness. You can actually.
But get that on film.
But yeah, so for me, if I'm going so far, I like that nose better, but that palate better. That's where I'm going. If I was voting on these guys at the moment.
See, I'm going to sit
Custard.
opposite. I'm going to sit opposite to that. Yeah.
Just because I like I said, I think the softness of this palate is fantastic. I like the oomph of that.
Yeah,
flavor.
okay.
I like the flavor of it, but if I was breaking it down all the way down, I'd go mouthfeel this, palate taste this, nose this, or nose a bit both because
I'm sort of a bit 50-50 on the nose but I think that's more what I'd probably go for. The mouthfeel.
That wins hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down, the mouthfeel wins on that because like I said, softened it up so much.
Yeah, which is really cool. Like, I think my favorite thing when I talk about whiskey is maturation.
Yeah. It makes such a big difference.
It's so important, and
it's not even just what barrel you use; it's the quality of the barrel. Like
quality of the barrel,
you
the
have
type,
two
the char.
you can have two fucking identical whiskeys. You get the same you make, put them into two sherry barrels.
Yeah,
and they'll be entirely different whiskeys after 15 years.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think I know we're going sort of off topic a little bit, but with when it comes to bourbon, but I think one of the best things we're seeing shift in the industry is people not putting as much of a focus on how long whiskey's aged for. And it is less about the longevity,
more about the taste,
and more about the barrel that's being used and the whiskey that's being produced. Not necessarily about how old it is. And I guess drawing it back to makers, I think the beauty of that is like this could sit anywhere between 5.5 to 6.5 years. You know, and when it's ready is.
It's when it's ready.
When it's ready.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. Like it's a good shift that's happened.
Yeah, you still get some of those old school people who comment on everything and they're just like, oh, no age statement, don't want it. And it's like, all right, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like some of the best whiskey I've ever had have been no age statements, like the quarter casks and
the Freud quarter casks. Like
it's one of my favorites.
It's just stunning. Like law even. Like you know, but even like again, I know we're going off a little bit, but like one of my, if not the first Scotch I properly enjoyed, and I'm very fortunate enough to be the ambassador for it now, but it was Lafroig 10. And one of the most common things I get is, and I guess we can relate it to bourbon. So it's like, 4.5 to 6 or 5.5 to 6.5 years doesn't seem like a long time. And I was like, well, one of the most common things when I get challenged on it is by turning around to the person and saying, what were you doing 6.5 years ago? What to now, and what have you done in between that time? And they sort of pause for a second, and they think about it, and then, actually, I've done quite a lot. And I was like, well, all this whiskey's done is sit in a barrel. And that is why this shift is really awesome, because it's slowly changing, where people are less focused on how long and more focused on the taste.
Yeah, and another thing people don't realise is like the whiskey doesn't actually age by year; it ages by compressions of the barrel.
Yeah, that's right.
And in America, because it's hotter temperatures than Australia, that's why our whiskies generally are done earlier.
Yeah.
Because they do this more often.
Yeah.
So every time it gets hot and then cold again, it contracts and then it comes back in and absorbs. The liquid takes all the juice out of the wood and all the flavour and all the softness comes out of it.
Yeah.
Good example is like Melbourne. Like Melbourne sees 4 seasons in a day. Like that's where you came from.
It is.
It's just
I'm a Melbourne boy. Yes, it is. Yeah. But what we love about sort of makers is, and I guess going back to the 46 and the private select how it was born, was we tried so many different variations throughout the year of that little period of how long to age with the French oak stave, and we did settle on the Kentucky, an extra Kentucky winter, because it was the most controllable and balanced climate shift, which impacted the most on the barrel. But one really interesting sort of thing with makers is quite different to a lot of other distilleries, is that we actually rotate our barrels throughout the barrel house, which
most places don't do that.
No, and that it
like you wouldn't catch Jim Beam rotating all their barrels, like being to their site and fucking around over there. Like there's way too many barrels in that brick house to rotate everything.
Well, but I think it suits it's each to own distillery. The reason Beam doesn't need to do that is because we've got
Another
or the small batch selection, and we've got a whole nother,
You can find anything for each barrel up can find
That's
a
right.
purpose. That is
yeah,
gonna be great.
of course,
exactly.
100%.
But with makers, because we were just making the one expression for so long,
Yeah,
we wanted to make sure that we were in control of it. So when whiskey comes off the still aged 1 to 3, sits onto levels 6, 5, and 4.
yeah,
And the whiskey that's already been sitting there, so say one whiskey comes in and needs to go to level 6, the whiskey that's already sitting in level 6 goes to level 1.
okay. Oh shit.
Yeah. And so, because it's up the
Yeah.
highest, it's the hottest, it's going to go to the lowest, where it's the,
Yeah,
And
more
5
cooler.
balance it out.
4
5
goes
goes
to
2, 3 and
So
4
it's a
swap,
complete flip.
and it just sort of flips. And the whiskey after that sort of 5.5 to 6.5 years comes out. The whiskeys on the top 3 go back down. New whiskeys come in, and the process continues.
Do you know what's funny? You say that, but and then it also kind of goes back to Margie, where it's like, it's the
It's the handcrafting.
It's a
consistency
handcrafting.
and
It's
like the
we
quality.
openly embrace that it is one of the least effective ways to create whiskey
Yeah,
at
so
our
that's-
distillery.
Yeah, it's
That's-
just,
We
no
hand
efficiency.
dip bottles, we hand cut our labels, rotate
Rotate
our
barrels.
barrel
Yeah,
house.
All things that no one else does because
Correct.
they're like, you know
Yeah.
what, we're done with that. We're going to use robots.
And-
We're going to let the barrel sit
No.
there and do a single
and
barrel.
that's what makes
that's the ethos of the
Yeah.
brand. Like I'm
yeah,
just like
exactly
I'm listening
right.
to that,
All handcrafted.
and like this is stuff I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know they rotated their barrels. Like
Yeah.
I've done the Makers Tour twice now, and I'm just like
flex.
it's not flex.
But
Um,
you're right, Jez. It makes the story of makers very
Yeah,
easy
of
to talk
course.
about because
Yeah.
it's
That's why it's such a great brand to work with and work for and to talk about because they're one of the few, I would even say just companies in the world that actually live their ethos and prove it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Like being
And I guess-
the first bourbon brand to be B Corp certified.
I was literally about to say.
There
So
you
we're now
go.
That
officially
is so
B
Great,
Corp.
exciting.
great minds
Yeah.
think alike.
Yeah, we're now officially B Corp certified.
That was only
Yeah.
just recently today.
Yeah. And the amount of sheer work and effort that's gone into that is like astronomical.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
people
we are
playing at
and
home
it's-
that don't know that because if they're not like on it, B
Yeah.
Corp certified, like they don't know what that is. What is that?
So it's essentially the company you're committing to good practices in both,
Yeah.
like humanitarian, environmental,
Yeah.
sustainability. Like
Yeah.
everything you do kind of feeds into itself, and you got good people. You're looking after
Yeah.
good people. You've got
Yeah.
your own water sources.
Yeah.
You're doing like on Makers Market, their Sahil Farm. They actually grow all their mushrooms and
Yeah.
their beehives to do all their cocktails on site, and
Which is nuts.
it's just, everything
like
they do that feeds into
we're
itself.
replanting the American oak.
Yeah.
We're starting to plant red winter wheat. So
Yeah.
we're going to source our wheat from our distillery.
Yeah.
Which
Which is not good for the farmers they've been supporting for however many
No,
generations.
they're still-
Oh, they're still going.
they're still
the
there.
The
So they-
amount of wheat they're going to
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
But like
having your own
they've
back
sort of almost supplied the expertise to help us
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Of course.
Makes Mark's like now globally one of the, if not the largest distillery in the world.
It's the largest weeded bourbon.
Yeah,
In
by
the
a
world,
long way.
100%.
Yeah, and so to officially be recognised for years of effort in a world that is very much centred around sustainability and improving our practices.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's always good
And,
first.
and that's the thing. It's like we've got all these
First you're last.
stories. Yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake, baby.
If you ain't first, you're last.
There you go. That's my internet now. You guys get that.
There's another B-roll.
But like we've got all these really amazing like stories about how I guess handcrafted makers is, but to sort of like without we definitely are a big company.
Oh,
Like,
it's
we're
huge.
a massive global company, but to still be doing all these smaller practices and be recognised on a global level at such an important level from a B Corp point of view is really something that we're really excited for sort of moving forward.
It's massive to see companies on their global stage actually walk the walk. Like all
Yeah.
of them talk the talk. Every single one of them, they'll have their. As soon as COVID happened, you had every PR firm putting out ads saying, "Oh, we're here with you.
Yeah.
We're in
Yeah.
together. It's all tough."
I know I got that at work, let me tell you.
Every company talks
Shit.
talk. It's very rare when you have the big ones walking the walk. And,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I'm very proud to like work with a brand and a company like that actually does.
I mean, and I
gives a
guess
shit, yeah.
like this is probably the first time we probably like sat down and actually chatted through the brand. But
Yeah.
Makers for me is one of the best brand stories to sort of talk about because it's just so easy. It just talks for itself.
Yeah, there's
Like,
no bullshit.
There's
It's
no
just-
bullshit. Yeah, it's just
it's
a
really
very
good story.
really humbling story to talk about. It started with humble origins, and it's still now almost 70 years later.
It's
I
crazy.
said, well, how many distillers out there would go and admit that my family recipe is shit? Like, it's
Well,
just,
yeah, exactly right.
Like Rob himself actually.
Yeah.
He just it was not good. He goes, it was the
Yeah.
same as everything else out there.
Yeah.
There's nothing distinguishing about it. So why keep doing it?
So, Dre, to be fair though, who uses their own recipe anymore? Because everyone just sources from MGP. So, and on that note, we may as well go to the third pour.
There you go. So where we at? We've got that. Third up, we've got the Heinemann Sydney, 2019 as well. It's another 108.4 proof.
Cool.
And then got 2 baked American purees, 1 seeded French cuvee, 2 Makers 46. Here's the difference though. We got 3 French mocha, roasted French mocha.
Okay. We didn't
and
have
2
any in the last
No,
one.
none in the last
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So this will be different.
Sweet.
So this should be entirely different because you go from 0 to 3 of the French mocha and then 2 toasted French spice.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Alright.
this should be very interesting. I'll
Let's
let you
do
pull,
it.
sir. Line them up.
Ready, Jess?
Yeah. Well, like,
Love
I'm
the
a
sound.
I'm a
Love the-
whore for a cool pot.
Yeah.
No, really?
No.
Could never have told.
No. Because you watch every single one of my episodes.
I do
every
watch.
week.
I do watch
I
every single one of
appreciate
your
the
episodes,
support.
Jess. There we go, folks. All right.
Oh,
I need some tasting notes on this too, Dre. So you're gonna have to work your
Okay,
ass
like-
off.
before I even did it, instantly chocolate on the nose, which I
Yeah.
did not get.
Yeah.
I got no
That's-
chocolate on.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the chocolate doesn't cut, and that's the
It's
thing.
like that dark cocoa
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah, like I don't get chocolate from Makers usually, but that's
No.
immediately
that's-
chocolate.
Yeah,
It's-
straight away.
Yeah.
Like for me, Makers is generally more like the vanillas and the caramels,
Yeah.
and like even like just a soft bready note.
Just softer, yeah.
Yeah, but like then this just immediately chocolate on the nose. Like
Ooh.
didn't even have to try. You could be brand new to bourbon and you go, oh, chocolate.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna go. Oh, that's hot. That's alcohol. I'm getting ethanol in the nose.
Oh,
Like,
I'm,
really,
I'm,
mate?
I'm not getting any ethanol.
No,
I,
this is-
I don't know if
no.
it's because we've had 2, but I'm.
No, like
I've got my nose right in there.
no, it's all
ethanol,
chocolate.
No sting, which for that proof is like pretty.
But this
Amazing.
is this is what I tell everyone like that I'm trying to push over to Makers, and they're coming from like a Scotch world. I'm like, do you know what? Jump on a 46, and like that's going to be a really good intro.
Yeah.
It's a
You,
good
you
spot
picked
to
a
start.
good one because it's got like my mates that they actually are Scottish and they're very typical Scottish where they're like, no, bourbon is trash because it's not Scottish.
And go, listen here, mate. I've got
And
a switchblade.
46 was the way that we actually tricked them all to like bourbon because
Yeah.
my mate, one of them in the group, he did it and we did like a blind tasting in his house and he was like, oh, you rate these scotches?
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, this one's really good. And I actually, like, he was doing it as a little conference to pick and I shit you not, Marte, you can comment in the chat, I picked the 46, like, to the exact bottle. Could have been any whiskey in the world.
So
and he's
good.
poured them all and we're tasting them and I'm like, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till they say what
Yeah,
like, their votes
yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
and they're like, oh, it's really good. And so, and I was like, Marte, is this the Maker's 46? And he goes, it is you. And I was like, I was pretty happy that I actually got it right. But I was like, it stuck out to me, and then
Yeah.
they were all like, oh shit, we like bourbon now.
Yeah.
So it's just
Cheers.
Cheers,
boys.
gents. Thank you.
Let's see how the palate goes.
Do you know what I love about like these individual picks is just they're so individual as well. Like you guys can laugh, but
We looked at each other at the same
but like
Just you know what I love about this cola? It's cola. It's
Fuck
so
the both of you.
it's so cola like.
do you know what?
Unique.
Oh, we are
Unique.
gonna
Maybe
get-
let's get. Shall we go with unique?
Pick it
No,
up.
no, no.
Do you want
Fuck
to?
you.
Do you want to roll with that again?
No, I'm
love
gonna leave that in there because that's the best. It's like,
selects are so
No.
unique.
but
You know what I love about these individual selections? They're so individual.
but like, even if these fuckers want to pick the same barrel, same fucking staves it's going to taste a little bit different anyway, and it
Correct.
just comes back to maturation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Everything's good.
So y'all want to take the piss out of me?
Oh, it's just the time we both had the same.
Yeah, we looked at each other.
Like, did he just say that?
Yeah, he did. No, he did. Yeah. You got there in the end, though. Yes. No, you're right, Jez.
Well, if you guys weren't too busy taking the piss out of me, we would have gotten there about 15 minutes earlier.
It does. It goes back to how important maturation is, and you'll hear
Y'all are fucked.
you'll
I'm
hear
the one
people
with the
sort of
problem.
say that it's
Have you seen your shelf?
Yeah.
I think you do have a problem.
I have a buying problem. I don't have a drinking
No,
problem.
true, yeah, most of them are unopened, so I think
That's why I have
To
you
be
guys
fair,
around.
no, and I'll say this too, because I'll give my old man a shout out because he's worried about my buying problem, and he thinks I drink it all.
No,
No,
it's
Dad, I don't.
It's
I'm
cool.
buying it, and it will go on a shelf one day.
Yeah.
That's what my top bar's
He-
for.
Well, I mean, he says he spends the night with two idiots drinking bourbon.
Do you know what? We pull out the good stuff and.
But I've heard a few people sort of say, and I guess going back to maturation, a few people say, and it is very important. Don't get me wrong, on making sure that you've got a very good liquid to start.
Yeah.
You've got shit liquid, and you can put it in a barrel for 30 years, and it's going to still taste shit.
It'll just be over oaked shit.
Yeah, exactly. But maturation does play a very important part with these type of whiskies. Because, like I said, like what we didn't have any of the mocha in the other
Yeah.
one. We've got 3 in this one,
And change the whole nose.
like straight away.
Yeah.
What was the ABV in this one, Jay?
The same as the others, actually.
Oh, was
so,
it?
Yeah, so the same as the first one. So this is 108.4 as well.
Cool.
So it's again about 1 ABV down from the regular one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just see.
I think I prefer that one.
Yeah,
I definitely, yeah.
I mean, I'm still sitting in the car strength.
Oh, of
box,
course,
but
of course.
I'm a little biased. But
But I guess I love heavy chocolate. Like makes for a perfect dessert bourbon. Like if you're gonna have people around for dinner and then it's like, right, we're gonna finish on something. It's like, let me open up a bottle. It's like heavy chocolate and it's just like. That's gonna be good because everyone's gonna be watching that. I'm gonna leave that in there.
Yeah.
It's just like me mid-conversation.
it's fine.
and-
I'm happy to cut him off.
And
It's
Josh
fine.
is like, no, we're gonna take a photo here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's going to the boss and
You look
you know,
blurry as fuck.
yeah, that's fine. I'm all about that.
Can you tell we've had a whiskey, folks?
No, we have not had any whiskeys.
Yeah, I think.
This is perfect dessert. Like this is what I roll out after dinner.
Yeah, and it's lingering.
Yeah,
Like the other
It's got a
one.
much stronger finish.
Yeah,
The fact that like I've had that once and it's still sitting there, it's like I like to wait till the finish dies on my first sip just to give it that full, I guess, thought and comparison. And this one's still sitting there like quite flavorful. Like
yeah.
the others tapered off. Like they started there strong and they started tapering off. This one, like, I'm still tasting it. And again, it's wildly different on the nose and the palate. This one, like
100%.
All right, so I kind of want to circle back and I want to go like a little bit off topic here to a point where, like, as we kind of hit that and we're like nosing it and we're getting a heap of those chocolate. It reminds me of something that I've got on my back bar, and it's the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Now, that is my perfect dessert bourbon that I kind of go to, and this kind of hitting at a higher proof. I want to say it's like that dialed up. Plus, you've got like once you swap out that rye for that wheat, it kind of like it makes it.
just balances it out a bit more.
It just
It
balances
just softens
it
it
out.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you've got, like I said, like that higher ABV,
Yeah.
sort of just like I said, dials it up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one
That's
of those
yum.
things. It's just like
That's-
that's the problem.
That's my favorite so far.
That's really young.
very
So
good.
I'm sort of going at this like I'm putting the car strength sort of this side of
Yeah.
the conversation,
Yeah.
using that as the base,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to like compare the 3 private
Oh
selects.
well, that's the idea at the end.
yeah,
of the day,
yeah.
Because you can't change the car strength. The
No.
car strength is what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
So
The finish on that and how
Oh.
long it lingers.
Yeah.
That
Just
is delicious. That's so yum.
And just the flavour. It's like it's almost like a Mars bar on the finish.
Yeah, well, it's like you've got that chocolate
caramel,
caramel and that sort of nougat style. Yeah,
So happy I've
because
got
it does. It
friends
coats the mouth, like it gives it that sort of creamy.
That's exactly right. I'm gonna lock in Eddie, lock in Mars bar.
Lock in Mars bar.
Because it's you got.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, it's the Mars bar select.
Why do we not have Dre on like the naming team for these bottles?
Give it 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But
do you know what?
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 Did your brain freeze?
No. Oh hell no! Oh no! We're going off script, son. We're going off script.
Okay, so
Give me 2
are we
seconds.
doing individual bottles or
I
individual?
think we're going off script, folks.
Yeah.
Just from.
I forgot. I went to the States.
And you picked your own.
Oh, you did.
I did. I totally forgot I went to the US.
Yeah. You did that.
I totally forgot I went to the States and I grabbed a bottle off the shelf of. They still got 5.
Oh, what?
We don't know what you're talking about.
Wait,
Okay,
wait,
cool.
wait, talking
Sorry.
about-
Alright, so as everyone is unaware, I went to the States 2
Couldn't tell
months
from your
ago.
1,000 Instagram stories.
But y'all weren't complaining. Now, I.
So you did a shoey.
I saw you do it, sure. But anyway,
Everyone-
what have you got here?
Okay, so it was funny because we already hit the Ricky Bobby stuff. So I actually went to Liquor Barn when I was in downtown Louisville, and they had a pic of I guess a stave profile, and
Right.
it's called "If You're Not First, You're Last."
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of we can either run the Rob Samuels or we can run the new stuff, and
Bueno Los Dos?
we can also do that. But I understand that Dre has to drive, and I
So
want
give
to.
me I'll do a half pour of each then.
If you want to do half pour of each,
Yeah.
I'd be blessed because I wanted
Yeah.
to have
So,
you
yeah,
over.
fucking drink it.
Yeah, you guys take the full. You guys have the full pour. I'll the half pour and drink.
I feel like this is your sort of special one, so why don't we finish on this one?
I would not mind finishing on anything I can possibly get my hands on. So
You little slut.
Hey, he's newly single, you fucking can't blame the bloke. Fucking get it in you, son.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh,
I
Christ.
really wanted to do that bottle with you, and I totally forgot I had it until like just then,
Yeah.
and then like
Well, it
we
would have
took-
been stupid if we didn't do
Yeah.
it.
exactly
Yeah,
because
what-
I would have
what's the-
discovered it.
What's the blend on that one? What's the mix of?
So this because as we were talking about
Zero
earlier, is
baked
everyone's-
American pure, zero seed French
Oh,
Colbe.
so it's gonna be very different to all of these.
Yeah, 3 Makers Mark 46, 4 French
No,
Mandiat,
No, because
Oh,
they
so-
swapped the
oh, so they
vodka for
swapped
the
the
yeah.
vodka,
So
yeah.
this
So
was
this is gonna be entirely
And
different to all these.
brand
3
new.
French Spice.
So
Yeah.
why this is
Well, that's
and-
a good way to introduce the different
different
statements
parts.
come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So-
we'll each and they go, oh, this is now the new offerings that you
And-
can choose from.
And there's different labelings.
That's
All right. So we're going to move on to, as you guys can obviously see, we gained another bottle.
We have gained
in
another
our,
bottle.
in our small little ad break.
Brought to you by Maker's Mark.
Yeah. Now we're going to have
And
some
Coke.
Spider-Man branding in there as well. It's fine.
It's fine.
Well,
Please,
It's your
no,
bottle.
no,
No,
you
no.
open it.
Alright, Jay, go
I
on.
was gonna say it's your bottle. We gotta let you.
No,
brand it.
please. I
You've done it
want
to
like.
yourself. Alright,
Why
so
don't you segue? Intro. What are we drinking?
what
Oh
is
yeah,
this
okay.
name?
So
What's
this
the
is
shop
my job. Okay, cool. So what I have here is a bottle of Rob Samuels, 2019, 2018.
2018.
2018. So I was able to first try this when Laura, Lily, what is it, Lily
she's gonna go
29, I think.
Yeah.
She
I'll
sent me a
double check that.
sample
Yeah.
of this stuff, and I was like, "This stuff is amazing. How can I get some?" And she's like, "Well, you can't." I was like, "Amazing."
29.
29. Thank you. All right.
Let's go.
We got you. So yeah, this was when I was first starting out in the American whiskey world, and I just tried it, and I was like, do you know what? This got me on to
It'd be one million.
good
Not
job.
my first rodeo. I'm going to give you another splash.
Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome.
I've got more to get through, so okay. And then I'm going to use that bottle for another bit of content. So you guys are just like,
You're guilty. Oh, you're right, mate. I'll get it for you.
thank you.
Yeah.
So then,
Is that the help?
so the profile on
Please,
this one is
please profile me up.
there you go. 2 baked American puree, no French cuvee, 3 Makers 46, 3 French mocha, and 2 French spice.
So you're super close. How different are we talking from the last 2 flavor profiles that we've kind of been playing with?
So this one, I would say, is going to be similar to the previous one, but dialed up a touch. So what it's done is it's taken 1 French cuvee away and it's given it into the Makers 46.
Okay.
So that's the difference there. So essentially, they've gone, you know what, I like this profile in there, and which it could be the chocolatey notes that we're tasting, and they've gone, I'm gonna dial it up again.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is happening. So you're gonna take a little bit of the flavors from the French cuvees out, and you get a bit more of the Makers 46. So it might be a bit more.
Could also be Rob keeping his old man on side.
And then
Could be.
also true.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out when we taste it.
We will.
Find out what the difference, what it makes.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was a good one.
That was
That
Yeah,
was a good
that's-
one.
Yeah, very nice sound. And again, you get the chocolate on the nose.
It's that chocolate does it for me because I'm like bourbon is such a dessert drink.
It's a bit more caramel nose for me, this one though.
So like a double Mars bar.
No, well, this one's getting more Mars on the nose. I didn't get Mars bar on the nose. I got Mars bar on the finish on the other one.
Oh, it's so sweet.
But this one is Mars bar on the nose.
The question is, are you a fan? Because like bourbon is meant
that's
to be sweet.
so cool. No, but like, we were talking, I guess with the other one, it was sort of those dark chocolate vibes.
Yeah.
Have you sip? Like, this is more like real sweeter, sort of real.
This is American milk chocolate.
Yeah.
This is.
It's got that sort of
Hershey's.
maltiness, that like lovely.
It's like a Malteser.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable how different that is for
And
one stage difference.
Individualness.
One stage difference. But so for me, the previous one, like we said, was Mars bar. Mars bar on the finish. This one I was getting Mars bar on the nose, so it was a bit less like the dark chocolate has been traded in for milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Like the chocolate's still there, but it's different. It's sweeter, and it's less, like you said.
This is a fresh crack too. So
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the first pour, and that's delicious.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's even a bit like maybe like the honey nougat. What are those honey nougat rolls? Those European
Yeah.
honey nougat
Oh, man,
rolls.
loves it.
Yeah, that's coming on the finish of the palate for me.
What's really interesting though for me is just like this is the sweetest of the lot,
Oh, by far.
right? But my
doesn't.
palate's dried out a lot
Yep.
now. So I'm probably like 30 seconds or so from like first having that first sip.
Yeah.
But I'm like my mouth's gone quite dry.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how we've got probably the sweetest bourbon, but
seemingly the most oak influence.
yeah,
Genuinely
that
usually comes
driest finish.
from-
Yeah.
The more oak influence into it
Yeah.
generally seems to dry it out a touch.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, very interesting. It's
Yeah.
like it's somehow taken both worlds. It's like most
Yeah.
oak and the most sweet,
Yeah,
and put them together, and it's worked really well.
yeah, definitely.
It's pretty funny that we've lined it up this way because like I said, we fluked it. We didn't taste these before.
We definitely, yeah,
But to me,
100%.
it's honestly felt like it's gone up from starting from here. So obviously, like Josh said, the cask strength is to the side. It's the base where
Yeah.
because they're all using the cask strength as the base and they're changing the flavour profile a little bit. But from these guys, it's just gone for me. That one was good, then that was better, and then that one's better again.
Yeah,
So we've
it's
somehow lined them up.
but also
perfectly.
like noticeably different.
Yeah.
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 I think that's the thing that stood out for me. I was like really eager to try them because, like we said at the start, guys, you can't like really get your hands on these type of bottles. They're not overly common through regular distributions. And
You
so
gotta
when we
know
have the opportunity to taste these, it's really interesting because they're all part of the private slate family. But I guess the key, or the USP, the selling point is that they are so intrinsically different, coming from the same base, and it's been really interesting to sort of see. Like you said, we chanced it, but it's been a really natural style of progression.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
It also pays not to drink your bottles because you can do stuff like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like you know,
This is why everyone should start collecting because you never know when you're going to have
Yeah,
some
exactly
people on your
right.
couch and you need to do some content.
yeah, that's exactly right.
I'm all about that. Collect all the bottles and then find the right time to drink them with
and
friends.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like I feel the same boat. Like you see my collection, my shelving,
Same,
and that.
yeah.
And it's just like, and you look at it and go, oh, why do you need 100 bottles of whiskey? It's like you don't. But it's like they're all there for like the right
Moments
people.
in time, yeah.
Right people
time.
in the right. Yeah.
And so I know the perfect bottle for this. Like,
Yeah.
like when my son was born, I was like, I
Yeah.
know exactly which one I want,
Yeah.
and
I live that well.
And other mates come up, they're like they're real
That's
big
nice,
like
Yeah,
smoky
absolutely.
peaty whiskey fans. I'm like, I'm going to bring out the Lefroy, or I'm going to bring out like one of the smoky ones. But and you get the bourbon guys there, and you're like, all right, I want to bring out
Like
That.
the whole array of makers picks.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing I like love talking about, and sort of I guess in my role I have the opportunity to sort of open some cool bottles. And, when I do sort of tastings, if there are certain bottles that aren't regularly drunk and aren't regularly accessible, before I open them or before I taste them with the crowd, a big part for me is to make sure that they all appreciate the moment, and we get caught up in like all these different types, because it's such a big market, but there are these bottles that will pop up where you go, shit, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah.
Even like recently, Whiskey Live Canberra, I had
I did see you run around there,
Yeah, I had a bottle of the Maker's Cask strength, and again, different to this because cask strength, every bottle's going to be different.
Yeah.
And when I opened it for the master class that we were doing out there, I said to the guys, I was like, hey, this is a bottle open. Like we're going to do this, and by the end of this time, it'll be a bottle kill.
Yeah.
And you guys won't have a chance to taste this liquid again.
Yeah.
You can't buy it again. It's going to be different every time you have it. And everyone was sort of like, oh, and I was like, it's pretty cool to sit there and go, yeah, this is the first and sort of only time I'm going to drink this whiskey, but I'm going to do it amongst people that are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it makes that special sort of moment.
And I think that's the thing, like that's my favourite thing about bourbon as a whole, is when you get into the community aspect of that, and like this is just me being a whore pushing my brand, but like you're bringing people together and you're getting them to taste whiskey, and you're just creating a moment there, and it's just like, this may be the first and last time you'll ever be able to try this bottle.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you kick back, enjoy it, talk a little bit of shit.
I like it because I can steal it and take it home with me.
Like, go nuts. Like,
I still come back to that. I can't believe, like, that's still really blowing my mind how, like, dry the finish is.
Yeah.
Like, it's making me, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a dry finish. Like, it's just like over oaked. You right over there? Hold it together.
And interestingly, this is the highest ABV of all that we've tried so far.
Is it?
Yeah, 55.55, so it's all fives.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So
It's almost devil's cut at that point.
It's not far off.
yeah, we just add a point to every number.
Yeah. It's on brand. I can keep it.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna say I think I prefer the one before.
Yeah, I'm like, that is my sweet spot. So it's going
Just
to be
because-
interesting to see what Liquor Barn comes out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
considering that they've juiced it up a little bit higher, because that's 101 point something. Sorry, 110 point.
yes, this is 55.60, so that's another 0.10
Yeah.
higher. So
Then you're...
this will be the highest ABV of the night.
Yeah.
So you obviously can't go any higher than cask strength, essentially. So it's obviously got
Well, it
a
is
little bit
actually.
more.
It's higher than that.
Well,
It's just
like
so
in-
somehow gained ABV.
Well, obviously
in that
that's just
Which
maturation.
in that time of maturation, like things fluctuate and they change, and we said you can't help that. That's why they
Yeah.
always seem to go up 1 or 2 points,
Yeah.
down 1 or 2.
It's not a massive change.
No.
But
It's still like...
they've embraced it. It's like it's almost like embracing imperfection.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not an imperfection.
No, definitely not.
What a beautiful looking lineup.
I know, like, it does not get much better than that.
I definitely
really
agree. I think that's of the process has been my favorite
Excuse me.
so far. Just
Yeah,
because
same.
the finish on it was just so good and
Yeah.
lasted so long, and it just held itself there.
Yeah. It's
Whereas this one's like I said, like the drying factor. Like I enjoy the dry, but I think I like the rounds that with the chocolate and
Yeah,
caramel
yeah,
just
I'm
sitting
definitely
there.
the same
And you
way.
can like sit there and just chew it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the kind of like this is the kind of whiskey you sit there while you're watching the footy, and you could sit and nurse one dram for the whole half of the footy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you'd have one sip and you just chew it for 5 minutes.
It just
Yeah.
stays.
It just stays
with
there
you.
and it's just delicious and yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's been a really cool way to sort of see the progression. All right, so we are on to our last one.
Yeah, our last
Our
one.
last one.
The late inclusion.
The late inclusion that like I forgot I picked
Yes.
up from Liquor Bar.
It's
This was
very dramatic.
like day.
Late inclusion.
It was
The
day
brain freeze.
1. I was like, day 2 because I landed and I was like, I gotta hit some places. I gotta check some
Yeah.
stuff. And then like I cruised over to Liquor Barn and I was just like going through and like I could have picked anything. They had
Wait,
every.
did you go to America?
No. No. No.
Go.
I just like I just flew over
Do you,
there and
do you
like
think this is an individual pick?
well, do you know what?
How
Like,
would you describe its individuality?
y'all can eat a dick.
Continue.
You broke me. That's where we're at. Okay, cool. Because
All right.
do you
So
know
Liquor Barn.
Liquor Barn? It was I guess the.
You may not be in the shop.
Yeah, I know. I realize
down.
that. That's why I'm looking at it and I'm gonna sit down. So yeah, I just kind of went into Liquor Barn and I was looking and there was like I could have basically picked anything because they had like so much stuff on the shelf from like Foregate to I don't know Calumet Farms, and I was just kind of like, do you know what? I want a maker's pick.
Cool.
Because it's just something different. It's
Yeah.
like it's not something we have access to on the shelves here, so it's just like something fun, something they picked. Let's go nuts. So
What'd you pick, Jess?
I'm being forced to crack it against my will, because like I'm not about opening bottles. I'm about like I'm sharing the experience with everyone else. So and it's a heap of fun too. Like shit.
Just for everyone sitting at home, that went behind the TV.
I'm gonna
That
find
will
that
never
later.
be found. Here we go for that nice sound.
Hey!
Beautiful.
I'm a whore for that.
Best of the night, hey.
There you
It's
go.
like
So, do the honours?
no, please.
Alright, folks, we are doing this final pairing with some lovely little bits of ice
Yeah,
cream.
we had
We've got-
caramel macadamia
Yeah.
and cookies and cream
Yeah.
from
So
the same place we got the burgers, and he
Yeah.
makes it himself. So
Yeah.
that-
he does.
I'm pretty keen to try his ice cream because I'm a big fan of ice cream.
100%. So
It's good ice cream too.
Like
Oh.
straight up, there's a
I just
Yeah.
There's
did
this,
it in the wrong one. Sorry, guys.
Oh
there
no,
we
my
go.
finger slipped. But there's this
There
there's macadamia ice cream at this place in Inglewood does, and I buy 5 litre tub at a time. It just sits in my fridge and I just smash it out. It's delicious.
Can you sell? I wouldn't mind if you splashed a little bit over my ice cream too. To be fair,
We're going over ice cream. I think. I mean, that's
like we're
Just give me a
here.
little
we
bit.
are.
Give me a touch.
We're not here to fornicate with arachnids.
Exactly. I would just say fuck spiders, but it's not my brand, it's yours.
It's not your brand. That's right. You can say that. I probably shouldn't. So we've got a bit of
The macadamia is great.
bit of ice cream, bit of makers.
Oh,
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Well, hey,
Oh,
no,
cheers.
hey,
There we go.
that's actually a great combo.
I'm very
Quite
excited for
partial
this.
to bourbon with ice cream.
Right, yeah.
So,
Well, that's yum.
This is Ricky Bobby ice
Maybe.
cream now.
yeah, shuck and bake, baby. Oh, son,
It's so good.
we just
That's
changed
really
the
And
game.
just for explanation on that, so the name of this pick is "If You're Not First, You're Last." So it's a Ricky Bobby.
Shuck and bake.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby Jesus. Cool, sweet, cute little baby Jesus for this ice cream and bourbon.
That's really good.
It's so good.
This would make like an unbelievable milkshake. You blended this up.
Yeah. Responsibly, of course.
Liquor Barn's gonna be so mad because I'm just like, yeah, do you know what? Your pick would be so good in a milkshake.
But it will.
But it
though.
would.
But it
No.
would though. That's a problem.
I'm sure it's going to be delicious straight as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to put all my makers with ice cream now. Like that is what I'm gonna have to spend so much money on.
Again, if that's how you want to enjoy your product,
But just whiskey in general.
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, and never let anyone. This is all you.
Yeah.
Never let anyone tell you you're drinking whiskey wrong.
Yeah.
100%.
If you like,
Yeah.
if you like it, like I personally, neat is how I prefer it. In the summer, I'll have it with ice just because it's just more
hot.
enjoyable. It's hot, as no one wants to drink warm liquid when it's hot.
Yeah.
But in like the winter and the cooler months, like I quite like it neat. But if you don't like it neat, you don't like it neat. You want to add water, go for it. You want to add soda water, make it a highball, go for it. If you like,
You want to add 4 blocks of ice to your whiskey?
It's how you
Go
like
for
it. Yeah, if you want, like for me personally as well, every single new bourbon I get, no matter how expensive it was, I will make at least one old fashioned with it, just to see,
Yeah,
to see the difference with like how good it is, if it makes much of a difference.
That'll make Jacob very happy. You know that, right?
I think he will, but I've been very surprised that some of the cheaper ones outperform some more expensive ones as an old fashioned, but neat. They don't even hold a candle to it. So it's really interesting which ones actually pair well with.
That's a good idea.
With the bitters
I
and
like
orange.
that. Yeah.
And I've just found better uses for them because I'm like, okay, I don't like it neat, but it's a great old fashioned.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And then some of them just make amazing old fashions and amazing. Like Makers, I find is a really good old fashioned bourbon.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's all day.
Yeah.
Makes old fashioned is
Just go to.
stock standard.
Yeah. Well, I think Arrogance why it's the most like recommended bourbon for like old fashioned across the world. Just because if a bartender wants to make sure that their customer's happy and they go, hey, I want an old fashioned, which one do you recommend? You ask them, 9 out of 10 will say Makers because it's just like you said, it's so accessible and drinkable and smooth, and it's just like they can have. Because an old fashioned it's a very spirit forward cocktail. It's like 50 ml plus of bourbon with like 5 ml of sugar and bitters. That's it. Like you don't have anything to dilute it, so it needs to be a really quality, smooth bourbon style. Like I said, we hate the word smooth, but that's what it is. And you need that to be a good old fashioned. A lot of people get turned off the old fashioned. Like first time I had an old fashioned, I didn't like it because it was just done with like I think it was just with JD and like it just like that was it, and it's just it's not going to work. You need
it wasn't executed well.
No, that's it. You need some like if you're going to do a very spirit forward cocktail, it needs to be a strong
and
base.
I think the true testament, like for me in the work that I do, you know, in tasting a lot of neat spirits, but also training to a lot of neat spirits as well. One of the biggest sort of tells to me that makes a spirit recognizable and you know a testament to it is its ability to be drunk neat. And if you start from there and it's a good quality liquid and you can drink it neat, then it usually adapts itself well to however many facets you can make from it.
Yeah, of course.
But like I said, this is like, and I guess it's this, you know, previously, you know, gin guy, and it was the same thing with martinis.
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to make sure that you use a good quality gin in the martinis. Like, you know, my go-to's Sipsmith because of that quality.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Makers. It's like you want that if it's a booze forward or a liquid forward, stirred down style of drink. Where the alcohol's like front and center, there's no escaping it. Then you want to make sure that the spirit that you're using is in that real
100%.
quality tip.
Whereas if it's like a whiskey sour, use whatever you've got. I tried to tell people, I said, do not waste your good stuff on whiskey sour. Anything generally with lemon juice.
Well, that citrus will just drown it out.
The citrus will drown out. You could use your base makers, or you could use the most expensive barrel pick you've got here. Guarantee you wouldn't really tell the difference if you do a whiskey sour. But if you're old fashioned, you pick it every day of the week. So you just gotta be very careful and like just think about what you're using it for. If it's if you're going into the gym, like you said, martini, use your good stuff. Gin and tonic, use whatever you want. Like it's generally that's how they balance out.
Boys, you boys are in for a treat.
So dropping the knowledge.
Alright.
You boys,
I'm gonna put the ice cream on one side.
Yeah, no. Like I've been sitting here nosing this sucker, and y'all better get with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is something else.
Whoa.
Yeah. How good. This is the pick of the night.
Well, we haven't tasted it yet.
No. I don't care.
Shit, on the nose, that's
the nose.
Pretty special.
They sound very good. Oh, so we do need to mention that this one actually has the new stage selection
thank
choice.
you. Like, glad Dre's with it.
So we've so now the new ones. If you did a barrel pick these days or your private selection pick, your option would be different. So instead of having the French mocha, you now have the roasted French Mendiant. And that's the new option. So this one is going to be wildly different to the rest because for one, it doesn't have the option of mocha and it's swapped that in. But two, it also has no baked American puree and no seared French cuvee, which so it's just completely and they've all had 2s and 2s and 2s. Actually, so every single one of them so far has had at least 2 baked American puree. So
right.
And this
we're
is
not having any here.
None. So this is going to be wildly different.
This is.
I mean, straight up on the nose is wildly different. Like it's
just this one is all
It's really
46.
fresh.
Yeah.
French Mendiant.
That's
and
what I
toasted
like
French
it.
wine.
Like
As soon as
there's very little spice here.
As soon as I put it to my nose, I'm like, you boys, lucky I grabbed
It's
this.
even a little bit fruity, like that.
Yeah, like I was
yeah.
thinking like sort of green
an
apple
orchid.
vibes.
Yeah, like if you go
Like that awkward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like an apple orchid.
Yeah.
Orchard, or how are you supposed to say? I think it's orchard. Apple
It's an
orchard.
orchard.
Depends how many
Yeah,
whiskeys
because
you've had.
orchid's the flower, right? And then orchard is the trees.
Okay.
So I
I've
think
always
that's the
called it
difference.
orchid.
Yeah, so I think it's orchard. We can Google that later.
No, it's orchard.
So-
It's
someone-
apple orchard.
There
yeah.
you go. Okay.
Apple orchard.
There you go. So yeah, apple
Oh,
orchard.
that
And
sounds new every
like you
day.
said, it's quite fresh as well.
And y'all were taking the piss out of me.
Oh, we still will.
It's like, and if you want to
Appreciate
get like I know it sounds wanky about it, but if you wanted to you close your eyes and you just smell, you think you do like you can even like picture the leaves of the trees, like you just
It's
the,
all
the
green.
wind
This is
of
what
it,
we
the
bring
greens
you
and then-
here.
Yeah, and like for me, I'm a visual thinker, so like it's kind of like cheat mode for me a little bit. I'll smell
Yeah.
things and I'll get pictures in my brain. It just pops like the thing to me. I literally saw like there's big green leaves going
Yeah.
around the apples, and it just like that's what I'm just seeing. and
Take
it's
a
like,
step.
For me, I sort of along those lines, but more from a taste point of view. And it's like, you taste with your nose kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I smell that and I'm thinking about every green fruit that you can think of. So it's like your classic green apples, your green pears. It's almost like your kiwi fruits, your green grapes.
Yeah,
that really
which is
fresh.
interesting. That's I get that from like Japanese when you go into like the hakashus and the tokis and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Great minds think alike, because
Yeah.
that is, and I'll be very transparent
I'm
here,
well out
that
of
is
my
actually the main flavour profiles that I talk about when I talk about hakashu, is everything about green fruit.
And-
When I first smelled that, I was like, shit, should I say it or not? Because like that for me is
It's getting a lot of that on the nose.
it's
It really
really prominent.
it really
Yeah.
is. It's just
So considering that
the
I'm
kiwi skins definitely. Yeah, like straight as soon as I come back around to it, now you said it, I can't ignore it. Like
Yeah.
and it's like it's just.
Kiwi
I
there, or
have never gotten kiwi from a bourbon before, ever. Like I just straight up say that. Like I've tasted quite a few different bourbons and whiskies, and I've never got kiwi
I've
from
gotten
a bourbon ever before.
from one.
yeah, okay.
This one?
No.
Which one?
What were you about to say then? Like before?
Alright,
Before
yeah,
your brain
so
freeze.
like no, because I want to let you finish. I'm a nice guy, look after the team.
You are.
Yeah.
No, I think
I was waiting for
we're
someone-
waiting.
No,
we're waiting
now
for
we're
you to
waiting for
start
you to
talking
finish.
about what you
Yeah,
want
now
to
we're
say.
waiting for you. We finished
I was
our
waiting for
thing.
you guys to break.
No,
All right,
we're-
so what I wanted to kind of break into is because I understand my audience and 80% of it is American focused. Something about hiker shoes. I assume that's
Hakashu is Japanese.
Japanese
Yeah,
whiskey.
Japanese. Yeah.
So obviously
part of the
Suntory
Suntory range.
Yeah.
Suntory range.
Yeah.
What are we looking at for like above the Toki? Because I understand Toki is like basically
so-
entry level.
So it started. So again,
Because we're
probably
obviously going to go.
as a real summary.
but just
Maybe
for,
we do a
like,
Japanese.
reference.
Maybe,
We're gonna do
maybe
Japanese
left
right
field,
now.
I don't have any Japanese here, so
I
I'm out of my
so
depth.
that's fine.
Yeah.
No, so basically, Hakushu established in 1973 by Kazo Saji, based just out of the Southern Alps of Japan. Is a lightly peated Japanese whiskey. Prior to Maker's Mark, was actually when it was first established, was actually the largest malt whiskey distillery in the world.
Shit.
But Hakushu is like just this incredibly large distillery in this incredible mountain region in Japan, where it's like the distillery just pokes its little head out above these incredible big forests.
I love
Like,
the
it's-
photos for it.
it's
Any
stunning.
chance to get to use them in my work.
Yeah, and folks at home, if you're not sure of where it is, please have a Google.
Yeah, good. Just Hakashu
because
distillery and
the-
the photos are
the
amazing.
distillery, like where it is, but
Yeah.
the region where, like, so the reason why it's sort of centered around those really fresh flavors or noses is where it's based, but also the water source, the lightly peated malt we use. But I guess where that sort of fits into the Suntory range, and you mentioned Toki.
Yeah.
Toki's like our entry level blend.
Yeah.
I describe it as the baby cousin of Hibiki.
Yep.
So Hibiki
Yep.
is the luxury Japanese
Yeah.
blended whiskey comprised of Yamazaki, Hakushu, and Cheetah.
Yep.
Toki's the same, except using a lot younger whiskey.
Yep.
It takes a space from Hakushu and Cheetah Hibiki takes the space from Hakushu and Yamazaki.
Yep.
But that's sort of where it sits here.
Yep.
So we've got 2 single malts like Yamazaki and Hakushu, and then we've got Cheetah, which is our grain whiskey.
Yep.
The 3 of those can make up Toki and Hibiki.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Hakushu is right up there. Now, if you're talking about like just Japanese across the world, that like the Hakushu and Yamazaki just always sit in the top 3 of.
Because I'm
the
super
top
familiar
tiers.
with Yamazaki.
Yeah.
So Yamazaki was Japan's first malt whiskey distillery. 1923 it was created. And then we fast forward to 1972, we opened Cheetah. And then in 1973, Hakushu was built. And the idea being that we had 2 types of single malts and a Cheetah, a grain whiskey, to create a luxury blended whiskey. And you need all 3. You need your classic single malt, you need a peated single malt, and you need a grain. And that's where the 3 sort of comprise.
We got like a full breakdown of like Japanese whiskey there, so like I love that.
Fun fact, little.
There you go, little tidbits for everybody at home.
Surprise packet. No one saw that coming.
But that's the thing, like it's.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Have we
or the
drank
Japanese.
this yet?
No, we haven't.
I just tried something.
Japanese.
Online.
Alright,
Shit.
Was that why you said holy shit?
Yeah.
I think that's what he said.
Alright, guys, we'll come back and we'll do it. We're
gonna do Japanese.
We'll do a Japanese night. We'll go out of left field and we'll leave Burma
Nah,
for
like,
a night, but
leave you guys like
Well,
you guys
we
try.
could intro into that with Legend, because then that Legend.
yes. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Actually,
done.
then I can start with the Legend,
There
then
we
go
go.
into
Yes.
the Hakushu and the Hibiki.
Well, I
and
can
the
bring a bottle of
Yamazaki.
Legend, but that's where I stop.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
we'll
That's
bring
fine,
the-
we
we'll bring
can-
the
I can
Japanese
deal with
stuff.
the rest,
And then that's
but-
a good segue between
Well,
them.
then we can get some Kentucky single malt, because I'm sure you guys know a spot to get some.
Let's have a sip.
Alright, let's
Because
do it.
you dodged that question real quick. Guys, please enjoy. Please don't leave me out on my own here, but I want to say that's the pick of the night.
I can't call that early. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to need. Yeah.
You guys might need a second sip. I tried it and I was like, fuck. Like,
It's
because
very good.
for me, it's like it's embracing that cask strength and it's hitting a little bit above,
It
and
is
I'm also
punchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'm getting
Very punchy.
because like I'm, as I said, as you guys know, and as my audience is aware, I'm a sucker for high proof.
Yes.
And
that's
like
right.
once we kind of go to that 110 mark, and then it's still got all those caramels and all those, like, I guess essentially that embracing that Mars bar at that point. And it's just like high proof Mars bar. How do you not need that in your life? And like as you were talking, and I was just like, I need to take a sip of this because I keep nosing this sucker. I was like, holy shit, that is good.
It's really, it's very.
It's a significant step up.
It
isn't
is.
It's a step
in
up.
terms
Like
of
it's
that-
noticeably
the
bigger.
punchiness, like which,
Yeah.
and it's only the 1% different, but it's
It's noticeably bigger.
very punchy.
Yeah.
Like
And-
if you were doing that blind, you think it's a lot higher than
100%.
Oh, big time.
You
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it'd be like it's a
like-
120.
So this one is the polar opposite to that in the ABV variant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one drank lower than its ABV suggested.
Yeah.
And this one punches higher. So this one, you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is like 60 up to the 60%.
Yeah,
in terms of
I
like-
would have put that 120 all day.
And it's very, very, very interesting because the nose is so different to the
Yeah.
colour fish. But
Yeah.
like
Like very fruit forward
contrary
of
to
the
this,
nose.
I'm not getting much of the chocolate on the palate compared to it.
I don't get much chocolate
It's,
from
it's
this.
pretty much it's more the caramels are very strong on the palate, and it's quite spicy. Like
I was going to say, I was about to say whether it's spice or sort of that like classic ethanol that we
Yeah.
get with high proof whiskey.
yeah, that's why I need to go back into even a touch of water just to see.
Yeah,
'Cause that'll.
because
If
I've
it's
got
the
water
ethanol-
droppers there if you want to get some.
I can do the old fashioned way just with my fingers and just pinch a couple drops in.
Look at
because
you.
on the nose that's pretty
It's very
in your face,
fresh.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's very strong.
Yeah.
But that's like me.
But like
What
you
I'm
said, it's
used to.
strong and fresh.
Yeah, and it's basically changing your palate up
With
from
the
what you've been
palate.
drinking
Yeah.
the whole night. And it's just like, okay, cool, I'm going for something like this.
I'll give you that. Entirely different.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, completely.
these felt like the same kind of progression. Whereas to me, I'd say
This is way out of
I'd
left
say
field.
that was probably my favorite in terms of the balance.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
that those really good balance of the chocolate
Yeah.
and the caramels and the vanilla and everything just came together so well.
Yeah.
And then I'd say that was my next favorite. Then that one, like that's just ordered just
Yeah.
because.
But
Oh,
like,
they're pretty close those two. But that for me that was.
Oh,
standout.
yeah.
That's a standout.
That's
of
a
the
standout.
night. I think.
There you go.
I think for me, is in terms
picked
of
Heinemann Sydney.
the way we're drinking them tonight, I
Yeah.
think that out of all like the 4, that's a standout.
Yep.
This is the most unique.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's why I was just like, I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like it's changing.
Like, would this be
what we've been drinking?
Yeah. Like, would this be the type of bottle I'd probably like open and drink of an evening? Probably not.
No,
Yeah.
this
But,
like,
like,
is like this
This
is
is a
your wow factor
thinker.
one.
Yeah, this is a thinker, not a drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know what? It's a perfect bottle to open with friends. So like,
Yeah, it's
cheers to that,
Yeah,
guys.
that's it. With
Absolutely.
And that's something that people will talk about that you don't realize. Like, you've got different whiskies for different things. Like, you want your daily drink, or you just want your easy drinker. You don't want something to think about it. It's not hard to get through. Or you can just drink it and enjoy it, and it's great. And that'll be like your Maker's 46 and
yeah.
that kind of ballpark. But then you've got your real big complex beasts, and they're the ones you know.
And
I'm in the mood for this. I want to
Yeah,
sit here and
exactly.
really dig it down into it, break it apart. And
And
like
I
this
feel like, and I talk about this.
one feels like it needs its own night.
Yeah, I feel like I
We're
talk
coming
about
back
this
for
a
round
lot
2 tomorrow
when-
night. We'll go again.
When I do certain trainings, there are whiskies, I guess, in our portfolio that are very much ones where you sip and you think about it,
Yeah.
you analyze it, and you deep dive into it,
Yeah.
and that certainly has a place. But I feel like there are a lot of, I guess, there's a lot of sort of circumstances out there where people are always searching for that.
Yeah.
And for me, when I drink whiskey, it's like you said, that there are times where, I guess, like this, where you analyze and you break it down and
Yeah.
you think about it. But there are also times where you just want to sit
Yeah.
and not think about it.
I just want to watch the footy and have a great whiskey and
That's
just
right.
enjoy it.
And I guess going back to like my time working in bars, it was really interesting to see people come in and similar to how we were talking about with aged whiskey, but they come in and blow all this money on expensive whiskey and sit at this bar and analyze it, and you could see them thinking about it and wanting to engage me with it, and they'd spend, say, £50 odd on this bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
And I say pounds because I do all my bartending over in England.
Yeah.
But you see them get to like the last little sip, and you can see almost the sadness on their face because they hadn't taken the opportunity to actually just sit there, relax, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so there are definitely times where it's like, it's really nice to break down a whiskey, but also sometimes you just want to sit there and go, you know what? That's just fucking nice.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
That's just nice. And I think Makers is definitely one of those whiskies where you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because you've got the private select, but when you have the car strength, you just have that sip and you go, you know what?
It's just good.
Fuck, that's just Makers.
Yeah.
That's just good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit there, cheers boys, that's just yum.
Yeah.
Something I'm getting after out of that water is like walnuts. So like a nuttiness is coming out there.
Do you mind just passing?
Yeah.
Can I?
Oh, I've got water droppers in that. I flogged
go
them
to
from
hospital.
the. Oh, you guys are like pros. You can tell you guys are like.
But yeah, it's like once it took a touch of that like ethanol bite off it, and it's just
Yeah,
replaced it.
it
And
has on the nose,
so,
it definitely
so the
has.
ethanol like just and that was like what 3 drops
Sorry.
of water.
No.
Yeah, go
Nose
for it.
your. No, I'm gonna
Oh.
nose your glass.
Yeah,
So
so
I'm
it's
like,
like 3 drops
I really
out, and
love
it's
you.
just
Yeah.
it's just it's.
Oh,
it's
that's a
around.
whole different
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
And
Do you
that's-
want to side by side that?
Yeah, that would actually be good.
Because like, obviously you're using
Oh.
2 different glasses. Yeah,
Okay.
you reckon my glass is running hotter?
Yeah,
Because,
because
like-
it would like
Because
Yeah, I noticed
yours
the
is super mellowed
difference as
out.
soon as I
Like,
put that
I
water
can
in
put
there.
my hand
it's just
straight
like,
in there.
oh, that's...
if I do this, yeah, I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
I
it's
did
not
that.
right up to the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like that small change of
3
like
drops of water. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And again,
so.
like
That's
that's
pretty cool.
It's
Do you wanna-
very cool.
you're right.
Sometimes I find like water doesn't change. Some whiskeys does nothing. Other whiskeys it completely
Yeah, I
changes
agree.
or it opens up things.
I think for me, it's like anything over that sort of 48, 49.
yeah, that's when you start experimenting with water.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll try it as is first, have a sip of that,
Always. Yeah.
and then I'll just go add a drop of water at a time and just keep going back to it to see what changes. And like when I'm reviewing them or tasting them and trying to break them down, that's what I'll do. I'll go taste it, smell it, we get the finish. Yep, cool. Like 2 or 3 drops of water. Let's sit for a look, do it again, and I just keep going until I find that perfect dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go, that's how much water I want to make this perfect.
Yeah.
Because I would 100% say this is improved after 3 drops of water.
Oh,
Like, that's for me,
100%.
just- It's replaced
yeah.
that ethanol bite,
Yep.
so I can dive into that nose a bit more.
It's a lot more
And,
rounded.
and yeah, like the freshness is there, but the caramel's now coming through, which I wasn't getting before. The caramel's hidden behind ethanol.
Yeah.
And then on the palate, I'm getting walnuts now, which I wasn't getting any nutty. Like before, it was just spicy and oaky, but now,
To be honest, now I'm getting that classic Makers vibe.
yeah, it's coming through again. So
Yeah.
it's like one.
Like I'm getting that more
and you get the caramels and the vanillas and the creme brulee.
Those classic maker's tones that we were talking about probably with the first couple.
Maybe I should push to the audience. It's like, don't be afraid to experiment with a couple of pinches.
Oh,
of water.
absolutely! Like I think Dre just nailed it.
Yeah.
By all means, when you crack a new one and it's high strength, it's up at that 50. Anything over 50 plus
I reckon
is
like
where you can
55,
experiment.
Yeah.
But always try it.
Yeah.
As is. First,
as long as it's not 40%, anything over
Yeah.
that, experiment.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, like you're
Pinches of
not
that.
going to lose anything by adding
No.
a couple of drops of water. If anything, you're just going to help. And I guess it goes to sort of like when I do my tastings and trainings and stuff, I always encourage people, if they're not used to drinking neat spirits, hold it on your palate for 5, 10, 15 seconds or so. Let your saliva glands really kick in gear, because it's going to help break open the spirit in your mouth. In the same premise that a couple of drops of whiskey, of water.
Couple of
drops of
whiskey on top of your water.
But a couple of drops of water in your whiskey
Yeah.
will do the same thing.
Yeah.
And there's no shame. Like Dre mentioned earlier, if you drink your whiskey with water like my 89-year-old grandfather does,
Yeah. Good on him.
then good luck to you.
Yeah.
But it's not going to do any damage to your whiskey.
No, of course not.
A couple of drops is, if anything, it's going to enhance it, especially at a higher proof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, like my dad, I've gotten him into whiskey over the last year. He really likes it, but again, he doesn't particularly like. He can't do the high ABV stuff, so he'll add like a full teaspoon of water. And I said that's fine. And at first he was really worried. He's like, "Oh, am I going to like ruin your whiskey?" But no, you're not.
No.
I said just add water until it's comfortable for you to drink, and then you're enjoying it.
I love that.
And that's it. And now he's like slowly moving. Like he went from like the 40% to the 46%, and now he's getting his way up there.
Stepping up.
And he's
there. I
only
love
put like I was there the other night, and he only put in just like he's got himself a dropper now before he used a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Actually, at first he was using a tap and like just waiting and going like that, and I'm like, oh man.
No,
There's no like I was like, if you're gonna do that, like it's just gonna be really hard. Like, not for the fact that you're putting too much water. It's just
You just got to gauge.
you
how
can't
much
gauge how much you put in,
Yeah.
so you won't be able to replicate that. So I said, go get a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Because you do one teaspoon and you go, that's great. You like a teaspoon.
Yeah.
And then next time, maybe do a teaspoon, but just like take the tiniest bit out before you put the next one in. So
Yeah.
you're just slowly dropping the amount of water.
Yeah.
And like for me, when I first started, like I used to drink bourbon and cokes.
Yeah.
And then eventually tried bourbon on the rocks, and I was like, because I couldn't do it neat. And then and people always ask me, like my mates were like, I can't do straight whiskey. How do you do
I
that?
have a mate that follows me, like Drew. He does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's 100%. Like it's just how you've been drinking whiskey for
And
however long.
Ease yourself down into it.
Yeah.
You don't go from day one going, oh yeah, I drink my cans of Beam and Coke, to going, oh I'm drinking Cask drink. You're not going to enjoy it.
No.
It just isn't going to happen. Like
I think I'm a little bit of an anomaly there.
Yeah.
Anomaly.
I'm with you. I think
well, that's
I don't.
if you start with
into
Lefroy,
straight spirits.
that's
Well, this
why.
is it, yeah, and that's it.
You started in the deep end.
Yeah, I did. My old general manager from a bar I used to run in England. We were opening this venue together. I was his bar
I
manager.
forget you worked in England.
And we did a bit of a recce in Leeds, and at the end of the night we'd had a fair few drinks at a few different cocktail bars, and Gaz pushed forward a glass of Lefroy to me and was like, I smelt it, like I was like, what is that? And he was like, look, I drink Lefroy, this is what I drink, this is now what you drink. If this is going to be a good working relationship, then you need to enjoy this.
Yeah.
And hand on heart, I can say I was terrified, but that was my first introduction to Scotch.
Do you know
and
what?
I loved it ever
Just
since.
that. I love that moment.
Look, the fact I'm now the brand ambassador for it is awesome.
I love that
Great
story.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. It's like, don't throw yourself in the deep end. Definitely got thrown in the deep end when it comes to peated whiskey.
Yeah. Whereas like for me, I didn't try peated whiskey till like last year maybe. I went like, and I went the complete like ease all the way in the pool, like and down the rabbit hole. I went from bourbon and cokes to bourbon on the rocks, and then like slowly moved my way up the better bourbons, and then my neighbour got me into scotches.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be an expensive rabbit hole. Then I discovered a shitload of really good Aussie whiskies and the Japanese whiskies, and I think I've tasted whiskey from every bloody country in the world now at this point.
Sorry, Dre, just to cut you off there, I just tried mine again, and I got this really funky salted caramel note on the finish there.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if it was just like that high proof. It just kind of like plenty of salt,
The caramel's definitely like the caramel's always been through on this one. It's like for me they traded the chocolate on this for more oakiness, more caramel.
sweetness. Yeah.
Like the water 100% for me improved this. If I was drinking this myself, I'd be adding those couple drops every day. Just 'cause
It's really interesting how the chocolate's gone.
Yeah.
entirely. And I would say that to
Where
like
does the
not
chocolate
like
come
this.
from then?
French mocha must be.
You reckon?
This was the
That
most
was the one I
chocolatey.
noticed at first in that.
And that was the
we
one with
picked.
3
Yeah.
French mocha. So
Yeah.
for me, the French mocha is where the real chocolatey notes
Yeah.
have come from. So it'd be interesting to see if this new state combination where the chocolate comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's like-
Start experimenting and play around and find out.
That's it.
Because that could be why, like you said, why a lot of people were picking the French mocha, because they identified that's the chocolatey one. I want chocolatey notes in it, because chocolate isn't something you normally get at makers. So it's a really easy way to make an interesting maker.
I really liked how we were all unanimous on it.
Yeah.
Like when we first tried, we're like, whoa,
Yeah.
chocolate and makers. It's like, that's really interesting.
Well, bourbon, typically you don't get chocolate.
No.
Like, just as like a whole thing, like there's only very few brands you'll actually get chocolate on, but they're doing some weird barrel
some
finishing.
or something.
Yeah.
Like
it's
it's
not...
more the vanillas and the caramels, and sometimes fruits.
Yeah.
Like cherries and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas chocolate is more of a Scotch thing.
Yeah,
Generally.
of course. So it's like, it's super funky to actually get that something, especially in a private pick. So I'm glad I've got a couple of backup bottles. So I'm going to get freaky with the rest of
these
that.
were the two to me that had chocolates. This was.
I think that's
that's
the
still my
winner
favourite
of the night.
Yeah.
I think so. For me, winner of the night, most interesting of the night.
Yeah.
That's by a country mile.
Because this is the one you can sit down and break down this all night. Because
I think it is still changed.
Yeah, it will.
Like we could keep talking about this
You can
for
sit there for half an hour
until
come back to
Jess's
it,
phone
and it'll be
died.
different.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to, I guess, the first episode of Burgs and Bourbs. It was an idea I was...
Love the name.
I like it.
I
It's
was
natural.
playing with it for so long, and I was just like, everyone knows how much I love burgers, and then bourbon is basically my jam. And y'all are laughing, and I'm like, I'm just trying to hold it together at this point. You guys are going to throw me off. So I'm going to leave you guys giggling like a bunch of girls. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, Josh and Dre have been amazing, as much as they've been prodding me and giving me a whole heap of shit.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna flick it over to Josh, because he is, I guess, handling the brand side of things, and then Dre is my #1 whiskey taster for Australia. So
yeah, guys, look, it's always fun to taste expressions of makers and in general taste whiskey that we don't normally see, and I think that's what it's all about, just having a bit of fun. Shooting the breeze and just enjoying each other's company, drinking
100%.
pretty cool whiskey. So, if you guys have had fun tonight, or had fun watching it, I should say, then feel free to shoot us a message. We'll probably be doing a few more things like this in the future. So, we at the Exchange are really excited for what's to come this year. So give us a little follow and say hello. I'm always open to having a chat with anybody who's, I guess, in this type of world that loves drinking good booze and drinking good whiskey.
Just
So thanks, Jezza, for having us.
No, that's all right. You're most welcome. I just, like, for the simple people at home that don't have any idea what the Exchange is, because they live under a rock and all they do is buy, I don't know, some random brand off the shelf.
So the Exchange is.
Plug it.
We're a group of basically whiskey specialists, alcohol specialists. That we deal across Australia. We deal with all of Beam Suntory's premium spirits portfolio. So you've got ambassadors in every state, you've got business managers in every state, and we're here to talk the good word of Beam Suntory spirits.
Yeah,
So,
and that's anything from the Maker's Mark, the Lafroig, the Happy and
all your Suntory ranges, your gins, your Sipsmiths, your Haku vodkas, your Bamoys, your Lafroigs, your Makers, your Jim Beams, your Basil Haydens, all of that.
If there's any of our other brands that you're keen to see us do the next Burgs and Bourbs or whiskies.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to
if it's a non-bourbon, you have to think of a new name for it.
It took me so long to come
chuck
up
it in
with
the
a name.
comments so Jez knows the
That's
name.
it. But it's all about like drinks experiences, advocacy, and just good fun times.
Well, this is one hell of an experience, because I didn't actually think I'd be able to, like, Like, we've got 4 individual private selects there, plus a cask strength. Like,
All 5 of these aren't available in Australia.
like
So apologies.
that sounds like a huge flex. But do you know what? Like, I want to go, like, super niche here, and, like, I want to get the boys to pick one comment out in the comments, and I'll give it a couple of days, let it roll out. Like, maybe 7 days, whatever, after the video drops. You guys pick one comment, and I'll send them, like, samples of everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
They can
cool.
kind of,
Okay.
like, that's super
We'll
intimate.
do
Alright.
samples of everything, and we'll get you some exchange merch and a maker's pin as well.
Amazing. Okay, done. Well, I'm all down for that, and fuck, I'll throw in a video chat with me if they're super keen, and we can just go through it, because like
Yeah.
my time is extremely valuable to release my work. So yeah, like I love doing this stuff. So like anytime I can get like this stuff out to the community, because Laura looked after me with the Rob Samuels pick, and then all the other stuff I had to really work for. So
You know, that's
Cool.
great. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and if you guys have any like questions or comments on the things we've tried tonight, or if you want clarification, you're like, oh, you said you got chalk on that. What was the state?
Dre's
you
your
were talking
man.
about?
Hit up Dre.
Yeah,
He's
so
got
like either
professional
myself
taster.
or Josh will comment in there, and
Yeah, definitely.
again, so if any of you in the trade world, so the blend at Beam Suntory, so for bartenders or anyone in hospitality, so even you're a chef and you're interested in this kind of stuff, give us a follow on the blend, and we do a lot of good stuff with like the cocktail recipes and a lot of advocacy events that you can get into, and a lot of it's like free for you to just sign up and get involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, get into it.
Cool. Alright, that's enough plugging
I think
for,
so. Yeah,
for now. And,
That's it.
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm just gonna make sure my remote's still running, and we are at 2 hours and 16 minutes. So I'm gonna say that time point, and it will probably be a lot less than what you guys will be viewing. So that is how long we've been sitting here talking shit for. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Jazz. I hope everyone stays thirsty, and hopefully everyone jumps in and tries to win, I guess, a sample of these bottles.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy stuff y'all can't get. So thank you, love y'all. I'm Jazz. Stay thirsty.
Cheers, guys.
That's
Cheers.
Josh. That's Dre. Peace.
Cheers.
Smash that like and subscribe.
Cheers to that.